Hi, Jimmys. We're going to do some stuff differently today. I'm still in recovery mode, and we'll be back to regular programming. But of course, as in my niche, we branch out to other parts of overall wellness as well. So, here we go. Today I'm going to be reading some from Don't Believe Everything That You Think. It's a book I got here from the TikTok shop, and I'm so excited because I've been reading this book for the past few months, and I actually got the other two attachment pieces that go to this book, which is a workbook and the Beyond Thoughts by Joseph Nguyen, right? So today we're going to sit down and recall a time where you felt joy or happiness. And it is a quick exercise. Just something as an example for you guys to see what this book actually entails of. And remember to give the click on the orange down there and work from the bottom up, okay? So we also improve on our engagement and our growth, okay? Here we go, Jimmy. Recall a time when you felt the most joy and love you've ever felt in your life. And feel the feelings you felt as much as you can for at least 30 seconds. I'll wait. What thoughts were going through your mind at the peak moment when you felt the most joy and love? I'm not asking what were you doing at the time, but what thoughts were going through your head at the exact moment? Many people who answer this realize they had no thoughts during the exact moment. For others, they say that the moment and the thought was that they were grateful or happy. For those who answered that they had the thought that they were grateful, did you feel joy and love before you had that thought or after? Take another 15 seconds to answer that question before moving on. What insights and epiphanies did you have? What's surprising is that most people didn't have any or many thoughts going through their mind when they felt the happiest and the most amount of love in their lives. Those who had the thought that they were grateful felt that way before having the thought. If they had that thought, it happened after they felt the feelings. So the thought could not have been produced the emotion. This brings us to another truth. You do not have the thoughts or think to feel positive emotions. The beautiful part about truth is that it needs no justification because it can be experienced right there and right here and right now. It doesn't need to be proven or rationalized to you, and you experience this truth firsthand by the experiment we just did. And here's why we don't need to have thoughts or to think to feel positive emotions like joy and love. Because our natural state is joy, love, ecstasy, freedom, and gratitude. This may be hard to believe because if it's natural, why don't I always feel this way? If you want to see the natural state of anything, one of the best ways to look at nature is the state of its infancy. Before it was affected or conditioned by the environment, right? Nature versus nurture, or nature and nurture. For example, let's look at the natural state of a baby. What is a baby's natural and default state, assuming the baby wasn't or hasn't been abused, neglected, or had any physical issues, trauma from the outside, right? Are babies naturally stressed, anxious, fearful, self-conscious, or are they naturally in a state of bliss, happiness, and love? Our natural state of being is joy, love, and peace. Therefore, any thinking we do will only take us away from those natural states of being, which is why whenever we feel highly stressed, we have a lot of thinking going on. The strength of the negative emotion we feel is directly proportional to how much thinking we are doing at the moment. And on the other hand, the intensity of the positive emotion we feel is inversely proportional to the amount of thinking we are doing at the moment. In other words, the less thinking we have going on, the stronger the positive emotion we feel in the present. To see the truth in this, recall a few other memories when you were highly stressed and anxious and see how much thinking was going on then. I'll give you a minute to do this. I know it's pretty intense, but it helps us break away from what is really trying to have us or anchor us into our suffering. And these are really good examples, and I thought that this would be a good example and exercise for us today, Chimis. I was reading the book already, that's why, and I've already highlighted and stuff. All right. Now recall a few memories where you were at your happiest or felt the most joy and love, and see how much thinking you had going on at that time. I'll give you another 30 seconds. And make sure you internalize it. You got it, Jimmy? All right. Now imagine our mind has a speedometer. Yes, like in a car. But instead of miles per hour, it is thoughts per minute. In my case, per second. The more thinking we have going on, the higher the thought-o-meter is. And it goes. And if we have enough thinking going on, it'll go into the red zone. This is when we feel incredibly stressed, burned out, and frustrated and angry. And it is not the content of our thinking that causes us stress, but what we are thinking, period. The amount of thinking we have going on is directly correlated to the magnitude and stress and negative emotions we are experiencing at any given moment. When you're experiencing a lot of frustration, stress, anxiety, and negative emotion, know that it is because you're thinking. The intensity of those emotions is directly correlated to how much thinking is going on. Therefore, it's not what we're thinking about what is causing us suffering, but that we are thinking. To summarize, we do not have to try to think positively to experience joy, love, and bliss, and any positive emotions we want, because it's our natural state to feel these emotions. The only times we do naturally feel these emotions is when we begin to think about thoughts we're having, thus blocking the direct connection to infinite intelligence. And we feel stressed, anxious, depressed, and fearful. It is not about the content of our thinking, but that we're thinking, which is the root cause of our suffering. The intensity of the negative emotion is directly correlated to the amount of thinking we have going on in the present. The less thinking we have, the more space we create for positive emotions to naturally surface. So, Chimmies, I tell you guys always to take some mindfulness, right? Mindfulness is very important. And sometimes we try to find our places and spaces of why things are going on, why things are hitting us everywhere in one way or direction. And we are the creators of our thoughts. We are the creators of everything that happens. And just as we can create things in a positive way with less thinking, we can also create suffering of our own with the more thinking that we do, because we just keep on giving energy to those things. So what I love about reading this specific chapter out of that book is that we do have the power all the time. Our minds have the power, our thoughts have the power, and it is how we do and use that to create the environment around us and what we have and live within. I love you, Chimmies. Thank you so much for being here. And if you reach the last end of this video, please drop a few purple hearts at the end and make sure to click. See you next time. Bye, Chimmies.